This is honestly unfortunate news, in my opinion. And this is the Long Island Police Commissioner, Rodney Harris, who is the driving force behind catching the serial killer Rex Heuermann, has abruptly resigned from office.
I did hear a little bit about that. I don't know any details.
I'm really curious to see what is his name again? The Shannon Gilbert's attorney.
I don't know. What's the police commissioner? Isn't his name Rodney something?
I just said Rodney Harris.
Rodney Harris, yeah.
His name is John Ray. John Ray. They had just did a press conference, okay? John Ray came out with these witnesses who, 2 of them had signed affidavits, 2 had not. 2 sworn affidavits, 2 had not. And he had Rodney Harris, the police commissioner, next to him, okay? Supporting him. And then suddenly he just resigns after that. Which we had a really odd, which we did read it in that last video where we talked about this, was that statement from the task force, from the police department, basically saying, we had no idea what was going to be said in this, and we want witnesses coming to us, not this private attorney.
Yeah.
I first saw this on Duty Ron's channel. Duty Ron, I'm new to his channel. I love everything I've seen from him so far. He's a retired New York police officer. Mm-hmm. And I have really appreciated his channel so far and him talking about this, because he's the first content creator I saw to come out with anything about this. Basically just saying how sketchy this is. This doesn't look good. This looks bad. And that coming from ex-law enforcement says something for me. And especially considering the history here with the issues in this case.
Yeah.
And former police commissioner, former just law enforcement were corrupt.
And multiple people were involved that were trying to hold this case back and keep the FBI out. Yeah.
Yes. And now we have this man who was the first black police commissioner in the department's history.
Wow.
He is literally the driving force for this task force that caught Rex Heuermann. He comes out with this bombshell, with
news.
John Ray, this news in this press conference about these victims, connecting Heuermann to Vergata and all that. And clearly there was... I don't see the problem, okay, with these witnesses coming to John Ray. If they don't feel comfortable coming to the police force for some reason, aren't you more happy to, even if he has to be a bridge? Mm-hmm. What's wrong with that?
I have no idea. I don't understand it either.
John Ray has been, the champion for Shannon Gilbert and another person. I can't remember what her name is and the family's name. But he is over 2 of these Gilgo Beach victims that haven't been connected to Rex Heuermann. So it just makes... he's been out here championing justice for them for the longest and calling out the police corruption. And I don't know if that's what leaves them with a bitter taste in their mouth towards him, but it shouldn't be. If you guys are doing everything by the book now, and you guys he's already caught, and we're just trying to connect more victims to him, then what is the issue here?
Yeah.
He's not messing with the investigation. He's simply getting more witnesses for you guys to lock this guy up forever.
It was a weird statement. It was a weird statement when we first saw the video where law enforcement came out, because the way that they were conducting themselves and the body language and how they were holding themselves, and they didn't say anything bad. Nothing was said, firing shots at them or anything like that. But one thing that you could tell is the tone, and it came off super offended, like they were super offended. And at the end, there was one little comment about they shouldn't have done it that way or something like that. I'm gonna have to pull this, and I might cut it in here so that we can see exactly what it is. But I don't know why that would be a problem. I don't know. When I hear this news, I immediately think, okay, so obviously one of two options, right? Is there something shady going on here? And was he asked to resign in a situation where it's like, look, you can either resign or we can remove you. You pick, which one is the best for your career. So is it something like that? And why are those reasons there? Like, what are the reasons behind that? Or is it something more honest where this guy got in the position, was unhappy with the position, he came, he conquered, and he's moving on? That could be it too. I don't know. I would love to hear a statement from him and know a little bit more about why.
Yeah, I'll give you some more. But this what is it called? Response, I guess, to the press conference. This is District Attorney Raymond A. Tierney's statement regarding Gilgo Beach investigation and prosecution. Without providing any advance notice to the prosecutors pursuing this case in court or the Gilgo Beach Homicide Task Force members investigating these murders day in and day out, we watched today's press conference not knowing what was going to be reported. We will continue to investigate this case through the grand jury process and not through press conferences. No private attorneys are or have ever been members or agents of the task force. Any citizen who believes that they have relevant evidence regarding the Gilgo Beach investigation should report it to the investigative agencies that comprise the task force. Those agencies are Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, Police Department, Homicide Bureau, and Suffolk County Sheriff's Office, NYPD, it's NYSP, State Police, New York State Police, and the FBI. Any attorneys representing victims or their families by definition have a conflict of interest and should not be part of the investigation. Accordingly, private attorneys are not part of the task force, and potential witnesses should not be reaching out to private attorney with an interest in the outcome of the case.
I mean, potential victims can reach out to anyone they want. Let's be real here. And obviously I'm not an attorney and I've never been a district attorney, but that's just not true. They can reach out to whoever they want and talk about whatever they want with anyone they want. However, I think it's important in this situation to ask why, okay? One thing that I feel like they're not paying attention to is that for years, decades, they had a police department and office. They didn't feel like they could trust anybody there. They were trying to connect dots. They were suggesting information and investigation details, and they were just somehow getting lost, and there was no movement on this. So I think if they were a little bit more understanding, they might get a little bit more traction and movement on this case. I'm just thrilled the FBI came in and closed this thing out with the evidence they did. But if we can connect more bodies to this, I think that is very important. Or is there some sort of police involvement like we're wondering?
Yeah, I mean, with the statements, there was a Brooklyn officer implicated in that.
Yep.
Maybe he procured Karen Vergata.
Yep.
Maybe he was involved in more than one of those situations, and that's terrifying. So, apparently this resignation of Rodney Harrison's, comes just days before a Suffolk County executive race between Dave Colon and Ed Romaine. Or, I think it's Romaine.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ballone, who has held the position since January 2012, is not running due to term limits, which I did hear Duty Ron say. I'm pretty sure he was talking about Ballone, saying that he hasn't liked him from the beginning or something like that.
So Harrison stepping in?
Huh?
Is Harrison stepping into that race? Is that what it's about? The political race?
I don't think so. No. It says, according to reports, it's been widely known that Harrison would not be a part of the new administration. So there was an email to the department where he spoke about the time he served as the police commissioner. And he said, it was a privilege and one of the greatest highlights of his career. It has been an honor to be part of this organization and work with so many talented individuals. Each day I've been impressed by stories of heroism, bravery, and dedication to the residents of this county. I appreciate and admire each one of you is an understatement. He expressed gratitude to the county executive Balone for the opportunity. It says it was a challenge, but I will say this, just being able to bring the law enforcement people together to get to that point, to identifying our subject as a major accomplishment for me in law enforcement, being able to bring comfort to the families. Some of my predecessors got a bad rap for not getting the job done. I thought that was very unfair because a lot of good work was done before I got there. He said we were just able to take it over the finish line.
Interesting. So again, I don't feel like there could be something shady, but there could be. You never know. The only thing that we can do is ask questions, right, in this situation. Because, again, that's just really vague.
It is vague, and so is Harris Balone. He also made a statement to the Daily Mail. It's vague, too. Just saying he was historic, he was the first black commissioner, how he did, a wonderful job, all of it. It's all vague, and it's all just commending each other. But the timing is odd. Now, is it not that odd? And that press conference just came in at odd timing, and this was already something that was going to happen?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that press conference led to something?
So, I think where my question is okay, they're talking about that he came in at an odd time, right? And it's right during a political race, but is that being said because that politician already has someone selected for that job?
See, that's kind of what Duty Ron was talking about, too, is that a lot of times they like to bring in their own people.
Gotcha. Okay, so that makes more sense.
It's just not a good time for the commissioner to be changed.
Yeah, but that's politics. You bring in your own. That's common. I mean, look at the president. Look at the representatives. Anybody, they bring their own team. You bring your own team. I don't know if it means there's anything strange about it. I have no idea. I think it's important when we're looking at situations like this. It doesn't always mean there's something strange going on.
I don't know, man.
But we'll keep a close eye on it. We will absolutely keep a close eye on it.
That statement, because I assumed with the police commissioner being there, who is a part of the task force.
Yep.
Okaying it, that statement that came out was odd.
Yeah,
it was extremely odd.
It is.
And then him resigning after made it more odd for me. Yep. Now, was it enough to try to force him into a resignation? I don't know. I don't know. Could it be maybe it's a combination of things. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or, maybe there's a police officer that was involved and they are now a member of management and there's a reason why they suggested to the people, hey, don't reach out to private attorneys. And if you notice, they actually said the FBI last. Maybe they're hoping to, stop some of the information coming in, the information that buries wrecks, but leaves police officers, you know what I mean? Because that's also a bad image for the police department.
It is.
Now, that is disgusting to think about, but again, Thought Riot, we're going to ask questions. Doesn't necessarily mean that's what we believe going on, but could that be the situation? I believe that the FBI did amazing in this case, so I don't know. I don't know. Curious what you think for sure.
I think Rodney Harrison did amazing too. He's really the reason this took off because he formed the task force.
Yep.
He started this being re-looked into. He made it happen, okay? Because yes, there was good work before him, but it wasn't being acted on until he got into that position. Yeah. He formed the task force and he made it happen.
Yeah. But Curious what you guys think about it.
Yeah, like what's going on here? Because I'm not 100% sure. But I think we'll find out eventually, hopefully.
I think it's a toss-up, a flip of a coin.
Yep.
I don't know. It could just be politics. It could be there's some additional things that beg the question, you know?
Yep.